Hello, everybody. Thank you. Welcome back. Happy New Year. This is Carolina from Quest Mystic, and today I have Sadie Smiley here with me from Passive Income Pathways and Explore Your Woo. So I'm a little late, but that's okay. All right, because what I'm going to share today is my thoughts about 2026's astrological trends, predictions from a business perspective. I'm a tech geek. I love to talk about as well as astrology, and they're both related, by the way, by the friends. They're all Aquarian. So I like to just sit there and wander. Like, I wonder what's going to happen to Facebook. I wonder what's going to happen to blah, blah, blah. All right. So I've been around with the internet. So, oh gosh, since the 90s. Um, and I think Sadie's has as well too. And I've seen all the various evolutions as well as the beginning of the teardown of what used to be IBM, because back in the day, IBM was our main PC maker, which is not now anymore. And who knows what's going to happen in the future as we're moving into this new landscape of what the world will be with blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to go there. So, what does 2026 bring up? So, I'm going to be like going back and forth, folks, and because I have notes for myself, because yeah, memory thing is a thing, and I need help seeing things because I'm also visually impaired now. Okay, so what does 2026 bring in? So 2026 is an interesting point because it started what we are now in and experiencing. We began that shift last year. Actually, we began it a little bit before that if we consider Pluto. And so I'm not going to cover every single transit at all. Okay, so let's just get that very clear. If you're looking for like, when is Mercury going to do this and Venus, sorry, friend, go find someone else. What I am going to share with you is the major planets, the outer planets, the big hitters, okay, as well as Jupiter and Saturn. And I'm not going to go into each of those transits in deep. I'm going to talk about the bigger picture of what's happening on the collective level as it relates to tech, because I live and work in tech, have 20 years, but now I am someone that is in the mystic woo witchy realm, which is to help you, business owner, to figure out how to align yourself with cosmic timing and the beautiful wisdom that it can give us to really find ourselves aligned without struggling. Like, what am I doing? Who am I supposed to be? Who do I sell to? Where's my community? It's all on the chart. So let's begin. So this 2026 shift goes from what we call an earth, water, energy, which is more about nurturing. It's about like holding on to things. It's slow progress. It is not one of like explosion of fast movement. That would be now. That would be fire and air, which is now what the major planets are going to be occupying in signs. And that means that instead of just diddle daddling and doing this of like, you're going to be pushed to go after something. And it could be one of impulsive action, or hopefully one that comes from an informed and structured manner. Please do the latter. Um, so we're going to be moving faster, okay? Faster timelines, bolder action, and a renewed call to leadership. This is the activation of the Aries archetype. Aries is all about bold movement, courageous action. It's the one that goes out there and does things first. It doesn't take a breath to do that. It doesn't consider the other, all right? It just does. And hence why we see a lot of individuals who are entrepreneurs, who are just solo individuals in the business realm, tend to have an Aries activation in their chart because it pushes them to do that first. It's the first sign of the zodiac. It does things first, period. End of story. So this is your gateway year, friend, that you have been waiting for. Perhaps you've been like thinking like, maybe I should start a new business, or maybe I should have multiple income streams instead of like, I don't know, relying on a corporation or the government. Don't do that. I don't know if you've watched the news lately. If you haven't and you've been avoiding it, let me give you a snapshot here. You must move forward into diversifying your income streams in the future, period. You cannot rely on a corporation or a government entity to give you that paycheck forever. If you haven't noticed, things are becoming unstable. We're moving into a realm where we're going to work more in a collective, connected manner where information and knowledge is key. We are in the economy of knowledge. That's what it is. And we are in the space, at least myself, because Chiron has been in Aries. Chiron is the wounded healer, and he teaches us how to heal. But if you've been noticing, friend, over the last, I don't know, 10 years, everybody has clued in onto a word. And what is it? I am a healer. Because Aries teaches us how to be the I am. So we're all moving into this like big push of becoming creators, coaches, and teachers because we are healing ourselves. And by healing ourselves, we can teach others on how to do things from an embodied perspective. So use all this wisdom that you have gained, all what you know, and now you're forming your business. And so the dominant theme from here on out, okay, this isn't just 2026, this is at least 3 years. That's when Saturn is in Aries. He's in it now, right now, until, well, he's retrograde, but let's not get into the little things, but he's in it. He'll be there till 2028. And so Saturn requires us to put in structure. It requires us to do the things that most people don't like to do, which is to have a plan and then execute on that plan. And so when you're not doing your Saturnian work, things can feel yuck, right? So if you're not paying your bills on time, how does life feel? Like shit, right? And sometimes it could be because of other circumstances. I get it. We've all been there, but sometimes it's because you're not doing what you need to do. And that's Saturn. So Saturn is here to show us how to do things from a courageous perspective, but in a structured manner. And so, what is going to thrive in the near future and now is leading with clarity. There's been a lot of noise out there, if you haven't noticed, and that might actually get really amplified. Okay. And I'm going to share more why. But your goal is to lead with clarity and to build communities. Pluto in Aquarius is going to show us all the shadow around why you don't like to play in community. And it's going to empower us for us, those who know how to play in community. So here's your opportunity. Be an awesome person in community or not be an awesome person in community. You decide. But history will generally, well, it actually values both. It's actually shown us that both plays out, but I would say stick with the other one, which is play with the community, because that's more heart-centered. All right, so the major forces that are happening right now are the following: Uranus and Gemini. This is a 7-year cycle that will transform anything that has to do with communication, learning, speech. And then we have what I mentioned, Pluto and Aquarius. This is a 20-year cycle. Okay. So we're in it for a while. And because Uranus and Pluto are in signs that play together, then this is going to be even bigger than normal. Okay. And so Pluto's journey is to help us understand this dichotomy around like playing in community, not doing community so hot. Right. But it's also going to push forward everything to do with technology, futuristic, as well as with Gemini, Uranus, and Gemini. These are going to be playing together and making things even bigger. The Aries portion is a dual twofer type of deal. You get Saturn in Aries for 3 years, but then Neptune is in there for a while. Okay. And so the combination of this, the Saturn and Neptune Aries activation, is vision meets accountability. If you live in the vision realm, meaning in the illusion, I have dreams, and just dreams, then you are literally just going to be sitting in dreams. That's Neptunian, like, wow, I don't know. Sadie here has been experiencing a lot of Neptunian activation in her chart. And so Saturn, thankfully, will help us to be accountable as we're bringing our visions to life, right? But then Saturn's going to leave, and then we're going to be left to our best devices with Neptune and Aries, wherever that may be in your chart. That's where you're going to experience this 10 plus year transit. Okay. Yes, friends. So we're talking long periods of time here. This is why I love talking about the outer planets. All right, so vision meets accountability for this Aries activation, and bold ideas demand real execution. So you have a list, you go back to that list, you initiate that thing, right? Whatever that may be, that is Saturn. I can't explain it better than that. Like some people have a really hard time understanding discipline and execution, and that's what it is. It really is simply as that. All right. So my what I would say overall is to expect explosive innovation, platform upheaval, and a cultural split between tech optimism and digital sovereignty movements. And this is the Aquarius, the Gemini, and the Aries stuff all playing out through these core planetary activations. And so moving forward, 2026 and beyond, we're talking about mission driven tech leaders rising. Perhaps we see like major people in the tech industry whose chart gets activated, or they get a sense like, oh, I gotta now really be someone that has a mission with a backbone and actual, like, I don't know, ethics. Okay. And so this is perfect for spiritual activist founders, fusing purpose with direct action. This is soul led tech and humane design gaining momentum. This is accountability that will be required and demanded by others, not just themselves, but also from the collective. We're going to see AI, and we've already seen this go conversational. You can go check out Whisper Flow. There's a link below. Like, this is what we're talking about, where you are conversing and back and forth with generative AI. So we're now just beginning to play in this field, but it's going to get bigger. So the task of having to do everything by hand is going to get really multi-layered and divvied up in different forms. So, natural language AI that thinks and talks back to you, AI companions, translators, tools that feel more human. There's now Google bots or Google pieces that you can wear in your ears, and it will translate for you as you speak. That's what I'm talking about here. So we're going to see more of that. So, maybe that will help you to learn a new language by hearing it and then speaking it. Um, AI engines that represent you, filter info. Like we're seeing this already, but it's going to become even more, okay? Even bigger. Then the fun one is content is going to get faster and shorter. We've already seen that with TikTok. I suspect that podcasts are going to get bigger. So this is an opportunity for you if you feel like I'm going to do a short series, do that. A 7-minute series for whatever X period of time, a 12-week, a 36-week, I don't care. Or maybe you structure your meetings in short bite lessons and then have like breakout sessions where it goes deeper. This is thinking summits. Even how you organize your email list, your blogging, your video. Think how you can get into a modular and shorter format for your end audience. So there's going to be rapid viral trends that are going to cycle over and over and over. And do you need to chase those? No. I'm a big believer of using things like the pendulum, your oracle cards, your tarot cards to check, like, is this for me? So if you feel like, oh fuck, I need to chase all the trends, no, my friend, just pull a card and say, is this for me? Yes. Awesome. Is this not for me? Awesome. Then move, go down a different path because you will become a squirrel brain. You're going to be one of those people that's going to be running around chasing this idea and that idea. And then you're going to have nuts all over the forest and you're not going to know where to pick them up or where to find them or how to become an expert. So, don't do that. Learning, I mentioned, gets modular. So, micro degrees, AI tutors, gamified platforms replace traditional education models. I've been talking about this for a while. And Sadie's world of Pips has a lot of teachers, and they kind of like look at me like, I'm like, I'm telling you, y'all. And going back to like elementary and then high school and college as we know it, at the end of the 7 years, we're going to have a different vision and platform of what that looks like in structure. We are moving in a different way. And because information is free, and community, as you will now hear next, is going to be, we're going to be driven to move more into that, whether that's virtual or in person. I recommend both. So, education's also going to blur between entertainment and community, which is a good thing because we want to get back to the heart. Okay. We want to, AI is out there. We're all using it. Let's not lie. Okay. Stop lying. The goal here is for you to figure out how to use these tools, just like we did in the 90s when the web came around, on how to be human online. That's always been the goal. The opposite of Aquarius is Leo, and Leo is all about the heart. So when you want to play in community, for you to stand out as a leader, you'll be recognized by being a heart-led individual. I want to see your vulnerability. I want to see that you actually have snot running down your face when you cry. Like, I want to know, like, when you're panicked or when you're happy. Don't just do an AI avatar for everything. Sure, build a brand around it. I don't care. But at the end of the day, I'm going to buy directly from people. When I purchase, and this is coming from somebody who spent 20 years in the digital marketing space for major agencies. I don't watch commercials. I don't buy from major brands. I only buy from indie buyer sellers. So you can be part of that revolution too, because you are part of that, right? So the more that you stand out as a creator, as a heart-led creator, the abundance will flow to you. The next piece is platform power shifts. I've said this to those who are willing to think differently, but I think we're seeing, and others have been speaking of this in my networks for a while, but Facebook is dying a very painful and slow death. It's for the, I mean, look at my gray hair, okay? Let's be real, people, okay? The people who are on Facebook are baby boomers, Gen Xers. They are not the current audience that you are going to connect with likely in the future. Depends on your audience and who you're speaking to. If your audience is Gen Xers, go to Facebook. But even then, Facebook is dying. The platforms are going to be disrupted, and they have begun that. So things like School, things like Circle, things like Beehive, things like Mighty Networks, things like Whatnot, who is like disrupting eBay. I mean, including Facebook Marketplace, like all these things are happening because it's time for a change. That's what Uranus helps us to do, is to disrupt. It causes chaos for innovation and authentic release. Okay. All right. So I say we're going to see more user owned, community governed platforms, decentralized networks gaining traction. I mean, look at Discord and how that was used to organize a political overthrow. Yeah. Yeah. Go look that up. Nepal. And then niche communities win. And I've got just a few more, and then we're going to wrap this up. So niche communities win. So this is a no-brainer in my mind. We're seeing more and more of that. And does that mean you should participate in all the communities that exist out there? No. When you're starting your business, pick one that feels good to you and that makes sense for your business. So if you are a visual type of business, then you should be on Pinterest and likely something like Instagram. If you're trying to establish yourself as a teacher, as a thought leader, then you must be on platforms like YouTube. YouTube is a search engine. It's owned by Google. You got to do it just basically that checkbox. Okay, just do the checkbox. Um, but these communities are going to get bigger, smaller, high trust spaces. So meetups, see meetup.com getting even bigger. Why not? Maybe even more. I just heard of Geneva, where you find people within your local area. So there's so much disruption and innovation that's going to be coming, friends, and I want you to get grounded in your purpose. Because the shifts are are here, and it's going to be very clear starting in February, which is also when we have the Chinese New Year, and that's when the fire horse year begins. So we're having multiple doozies happening at the same time. We have a number one year, we have a fire horse year, we have fire and air activation in the astrology. So this is a time for a collective shift into a new realm, a new world of who knows what our brains are capable of. They say that we're not even operating at the maximum, so maybe we're moving towards the maximum, but we still live in embodies. So you're going to still want to be around, you know, grounded when you're building your business. You're all the process, all the building, all the foundational work is required in order for you to go to that next level. And so the first half of the year will be about structure. It is about structure. Okay. And then starting around like mid-February, then June, July. Yes, we have the eclipses all in there. This is just eclipses are just openings of when things open up and then shut down. Okay, let's just put it out that way. Okay, and then you can interpret all the signs, but we're not going to do that right now. So first half structure leading up to about February, June, July, it moves fast. Now we have Jupiter in Leo, Saturn in Aries. Those are fire signs. So we're going to lead with courage, bold action in our communities, utilizing new technologies on how to communicate, how to connect, and how to build a connection with the people that want to know you, and by you, by from you. Okay. All right. So, what this means for you: build modular, prioritize your community models, become a translator of knowledge, share from your heart, own your audience. You must have email addresses. Let me repeat that 3 times: emails, emails, emails. We'll sing a song at some point for emails, how much we love emails. By the way, emails are Gemini. Hello. Okay. Newsletters, Gemini. Podcasts, Gemini. YouTube, videos, Gemini, Gemini. But emails are king. They are the least costly marketing vehicle that you could execute on a daily basis. And lead with purpose. Mission driven, soul led businesses have structural support in 2026 if you have been doing the work. If you've been out there just flailing, chasing rabbits and squirrels and nuts, then 2026 is going to be feeling really rough because you may not know what is truth and what's not, because it's going to be this fiery, activated air energy, and you're just going to go, 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 go without being connected to your body. So practice. All right, that is it. Questions, Sadie?
So many questions, Carolina. um, so for someone who isn't super into astrology yet and they don't know, like all their signs and their aspects and all of the things, and they're just wanting some advice, overarching theme is, the year of the fire horse, right? So what would what would you say their biggest action step needs to be? Is this something where they would launch one business and focus on that all year long? Or is it something where they're going to launch like micro businesses? Because you mentioned a couple of different ideas there. So if somebody's coming in brand new, doesn't have a business, doesn't know the astrology stuff, what is your best advice for them for 2026?
You're going to be inspired to want to do the multiple things, but the reality is that when we chase too many things, nothing can go deep, and so
Yeah.
you're not going to be able to really go deep. What's another word for that, like uh
It's all surface
it,
level
yeah,
if you're not,
exactly.
yeah.
Right. It's all surface level instead of going to build something that will be sustaining long term.
Yeah.
Now, does that mean that you shouldn't experiment? No, but you need to have the core vehicle from which you can experiment from. So, for example, I'm not on TikTok. I decided after just doing a lot of internal work, I'm like, my authority building is YouTube. The TikTok channel realm is operates around small bite stuff. Am I going to build original for TikTok? No. I'll play on TikTok, but I'm going to repurpose. So repurposing might be the best vehicle if you want to play in something new. Like, say you have had all these recordings and you've never launched a podcast. Well, this is a great time to do that. Package it up and then launch it in, like, drip it out and leave it alone while you're still building your main thing. Don't get distracted because Gemini loves knowledge. It loves to share lots of bits of information. It's why I'm here with you guys. My Venus is in Gemini. I'm like, oh, I'll find information. Let me, right? But if you're still just like jumping from one flower to the next flower to the next flower to the next flower, it's going to be difficult for you to gain any traction with what you're building.
I love that. And I also love that you said essentially human first, because we've been talking about this for a while and community first. I started building online communities like a decade ago because I felt like we needed more human connection. And then just this last year, I went offline again. I started offline with a mix of offline online, right? And then it was all online. And now it's going back to a mix of offline online. And honestly, the offline stuff has gotten way more traction than I ever expected. I just went to a witchy meetup the other day. There were probably 30 people there, and they were even shocked. They were like, whoa, this is huge compared to what it usually is. So I feel like I'm not the only one that is really seeking that human
Yeah.
connection and is like I'm as much as I love AI, I am completely turned off to the AI videos and the clones and stuff like that. It gives me the ick. I don't want to see it. I don't join memberships where people use those. And if I do and they're using one, then I leave. So I think there's going to be two sets of like two paths, right? We're going to have the people who are coming online and getting into AI for the first time ever. And then we're going to have people like us who have been on the internet since the 1900s and are and are like, okay, let's get offline and go talk to people because we haven't been able to do that for quite some time.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And this is where you have that opportunity to make an impact. Everybody, most people that I associate myself with is, or at least try to, I want to make sure that I'm with individuals that want to make an impact in this world through whatever form they're in, right? And so when it comes to business, the people I want to collaborate with are in that. And this is an opportunity to utilize these energies where community will be elevated as a means of us to relate, but ultimately, it has to come from a heart space to make an impact because there's Aquarius is a detached sign. It does not, it's much more cerebral. Okay. It cares about the community and the global picture for the community. But when it comes to heart stuff, that's not it. And so you have to remember when you're out there, what you are here to provide and connect from a reciprocity perspective.
I like that.
Because the problem with the opposite sign of Aquarius, Leo, yes, it's heart, but it's also the king queen vibe, and we don't. You could see how that's going playing out for people right now, off
Hmm.
with their heads, right?
Hmm.
So it's less about like I am the leader. It's more of like, hi, I'm here to participate. How can I
Hmm.
contribute? How can we work together? How can we
Hmm.
form something with
Yeah.
equal give? So if you're just taking and
Yes.
taking, for example, Facebook groups, all those are a shit show because all people do, like all the spiritual ones, they just dump. They just dump, 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 dump. And so I get it. I get the challenge because you're being told go everywhere, get your message everywhere out there. It doesn't matter. Just promote, 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 promote. The amount of energy that you are spending on just dump posting
With no
could
return. With no return.
with no return
Hmm.
could help you so much if you come at it from three communities that you do deep heart engagement, and how much more can you actually gain from that. I
Yep.
purposely don't engage in all communities because my energy cannot handle that. So you must figure out what is your strength and what is not your strength, and bring that to the table. The community layer will be a big challenge for many people because right now, so far, the internet has been much more like a me thing. I mean, Instagram is just about me.
Maybe that's why I've literally never done Instagram. I don't like any of it. I do not like Instagram at all. I do like Facebook groups because of the community, but they have to be very carefully curated. Like you said, a lot of the spiritual ones, I've joined so many, and yeah, they just dump and then they leave. So for those of you who are watching and you don't have a community yet, that's okay. Start by joining other communities and being helpful in those communities. That's how I started Passive Income Pathways. I was super helpful in a group, and that literally launched me to a six-figure business practically overnight. I had no idea that that was going to happen, but I had nurtured probably for 6 to 9 months. I had been nurturing in that group before I launched anything of my own, and those folks showed up. I
Mhm.
I was just shocked, but it happens over and over. I keep seeing that happen. If you show up and you put the work in and you put the time in and you're more focused on giving instead of receiving, you will receive. It's going to come back. Whenever you give, it's a boomerang and it's going to come back. It might take a little while, but trust it will come back. But you have to be focused on the serving aspect and the giving aspect more than the gimme, 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 what can I get from these people
Right.
aspect, because we're seeing through it at higher rates than before, and we're just over it. And we're like, if you're just coming in to take, like, we've worked too hard to build this space for someone to just come in and take. So show up and give with a pure heart and not worry about what you're going to get, and you'll be amazed at what you do actually receive.
Yep. And I feel like that's like the perfect way to end this.
Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, friends, take this advice to heart. Come up with your list of how you're going to win 2026 within a space that supports you energetically. You're going to be thrown by a lot. And come and check us out. We have events going on every single month for the rest of 2026. There are going to be links below to myself and for Sadie here, and ask us questions. We are open here for you. Thank you for joining us today. And I wish you all the best for 2026. Thanks. Bye.